In this video, let's take a look at selecting GNSS outliers. Now, this is a project that we were out on twice, once back in March to do some preliminary work for locating a house on this property, and then again more recently in October because the property to the south is building and we want to do some work with the lot lines here. But we wanted to establish more accurate control out there with multiple GNSS observations. So we took those two observations on different days. The first day is here in this traverse, and the second day is here in this traverse. So you can kind of see when we take a look at these that I'm using observations for the same point. Here's G761, but two different dates. And I've got the raw data colorized here. Let me do the same up here so you can see how that works. So we're going to go into raw data. I think I just used some kind of a brown for that, which is fine. So now all my raw data, GNSS data, is brown. And I want to just identify if there's any outliers in here that I want to take a look at and improve my averages that I'm computing. So I'm going to come up to Tools, GNSS Averages, and I'm going to tell Traverse PC I just want to look in this traverse here. And I'm using the same point label. So this observation is to point label G761. This one is to G761. There is a survey point, G761, that will have coordinates, both geodetic and XY, but only one set of coordinates, even though I have two separate observations. So that's important to know that I can have any number of observations, but there will only be one set of coordinates for that particular point. And I'm using point label matches to identify how they're related. Let's go ahead and bring this up. And here are the observations now for G761. And what I want to show you in particular is that if I have a lot of observations, I just have 5 points here, each with 2, so I just have 10 observations. What if I had 100? What if I had 5 different observations for each one of these and just had 25? Well, Traverse PC can say, come in and specify the outliers, the maximum that you would like to accept for this. And I've gone ahead and set the PDOP at 2.7, and I've set the X difference at 500ths here. And let's just go ahead and select outliers and see what happens. Okay, so look at this. In the first observation here, in fact, in both of them, my Y value is 0.057, so just slightly greater than 0.05. So Traverse PC identified that. In the second observation here, I had a PDOP of 2.8, and I purposely set this low to 2.7 so that would show up. So now it's real easy for me to come in and just simply uncheck those. And now I'm not going to use those. Now I have to use at least one observation here because I have to have at least one point selected. Let's come up and remove just that one if we want. Okay, so I can individually select them, turn them on or off to reject or accept them. But I wanted you to see here that these outliers allow me to select all of them that I want to take a look at. And then if I want, just turn them all off or go back and look at them individually. Now these outlier values are here in the program settings under the limits. So I can specify these as GNSS limits. And again, I can store these in the program. So the next survey that I look at is going to have these same limits to check. And when I go to check GNSS averages, either doing it manually here or through this happens automatically when I import and it finds multiple GNSS observations, I can see those same values now displayed here for me to come in and select the outliers. So just a real quick way for me to identify which of those GNSS observations are suspect, and it lets me take a closer look at them and reject any that I find are farther out than I want them to be.